trade my time for rolling dollar signs.
Hi, I'm Chris J. Hudson. I sing and compose music and also voice act in LA. Every song has a concept, and those initial ideas come from people and stories in real life. They've enriched my mind and made me a more complete person, so I figured, hey, why not share it with the world? You can only fit so much into one song. So without further ado, welcome to Think Outside the Box. If you're tired of the status quo, this podcast explores the freshest ideas and profiles inspiring people who are doing things differently. So let's go. This week, we continue our alternative career series with part 2 of our talk with Guru Mitar. If you haven't listened to part 1 yet, I highly recommend that you go back and play that one first. We dive into all kinds of things this time around, from philosophies about overall health and wellness to some of the foundational principles of yoga. So, without further ado, let's begin. So, let's get a little bit into philosophy and how it's helped you, your practice has helped you. Do you still go to Western medicine? Western medical doctors?
If my dad listened to this, he would kill me. So I'm going to be neutral in the answer in case Dad ever hears this. I believe in balance. I definitely believe in balance. I'm not one to visit Western medicine very often. I do every so often, because there is, the benefits of the technology that Western medicine has, those mammograms that they can do.
Yeah.
So I do go, but I don't frequent them as much as I probably should.
Okay, I understand. So you get your checkups and things every once in a while.
Once in a blue moon.
But it sounds like you haven't really had to go because you've reached a state of balance in your life. Do you think that's a good assessment?
Yeah. I would have to say, when I talk about a balance, a lot of times, even living the life of being a yogi, well, now that I'm a yogi, I have to eat perfect. I have to do this perfect, And so now I've shit on myself in a whole nother way. So when I say living a life of balance, I really, hey, I love McDonald's French fries. You weren't expecting to hear that, were you?
I was not.
And so I crave them every moon cycle. Yeah. And so I balance. I'm like, hey, let myself enjoy life.
Yeah. That's the definition of balance.
Yeah. And so I have my McDonald's French fries, and then I also have my celery juice. So I live it in balance. Yeah. I think doing yoga all the time, doing a lot of spiritual work, a lot of meditating, a lot of breath work. I think all of these things keep me young. I mean, when I look at a picture of myself 12 years ago, which I actually have pictures of my teacher and I 12 years ago, like every 3, every 5, and then like I look at a picture of us from today all the way, I haven't aged. Most people don't realize I'm 48 years old. I don't look 48 years old.
You don't.
Yeah. And I think that's, having that balance, because if I deprive myself of my McDonald's French fries once a month, then I have that guilt and that shame, or so I don't feel guilty when I eat my McDonald's French fries. I'm like, hey, I love them. I'm going to give myself a once in a while. Yeah. So I think it's having that balance of not judging ourselves sometimes for some of the things that we want to do in life.
I completely agree. You can never be too hard on yourself,
right? Because
nobody's perfect.
Well,
even yogis.
I'm perfect. Just the way I am.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Awesome. Okay. Well, for some listeners who have completely no clue about what we're talking about when you say like a breathwork sound bath, can you explain kind of what it is and what is some of the benefits that someone might receive?
So breathwork is profound and sound bath are profound, both. And I like to mix the two. So why breath work? If you were just to take a look at your day, your breath will change depending on your emotional state. Anytime you feel overwhelmed, stressed, anything that's not a good feeling, you will notice there's a pause, almost a hold in your breath, like a And then that pause and that hold, like maybe you don't want to cry. What do? Push the tears down. So every pause, literally you're pushing down, you're pushing down, you're pushing down. Your body is keeping score. And so the opposite is also true. If when you don't want to experience, you stop your breath, push the feeling down. If you enhance your breath, breathe, then all that block, all that stuck, all that stuff that you didn't allow yourself to experience, you're allowing the freeing of that experience. And so you can really open up to all those times that you didn't allow yourself to fully experience. When you work on all those levels, and then you keep taking in a surplus of oxygen, you can actually enter what many people say altered states of consciousness. I like to say enhanced states of consciousness. It's an enhanced state. It's a state that free state, like that all-knowing state. So what if you use that in your everyday life?
What could happen?
Exactly.
Well, I know from experience because I took hopefully the last one that you did a couple weeks ago, and it was pretty transformative. I must say, it was different than just doing like a meditation because it's almost like you enter like in a dreamlike state.
Right. And so when you go into those enhanced states, what happens is your ego takes a step to the side. Your inner light that's always there inside of you now takes you on the experience that's perfect for you. Some people, have healing work to do, unfinished business.
Yeah.
So you might go on an unfinished business, finish the business. Some people, maybe their inner light takes them to guidance, like my one experience where my inner light took me to go talk to my angels and my guides. I got clarity on my life's path. So everyone's experience is completely different depending on what you need. And you now are in touch with your inner light, which for me became my inner therapist. That therapy sessions that I was paying thousands and thousands of dollars for, well, they only knew what I told them. My inner light knows everything about me. Knows what I need, when I need it. So when you start to get in touch with that, then you intentionally come to a breathing session, a sound bath, and you start to get just a glimpse of that all-knowing inside of you. And you keep coming back that glimpse. Soon, that glimpse, you can catch it in your everyday life. Like that moment where you want to stop what's happening.
Yeah.
You allow your breath to fill, then that inner light's right there. It's like really, some say, through your breath, you can touch your own spirit, your own soul.
Yeah. Well, how does the sound, I guess, play into it?
So the sound, our body is just an instrument. And with all instruments, they need a little bit of tuning. Well, our body is so amazing. It knows how to tune itself. So when all these different sounds, all these different frequencies are played, the body knows how to tune itself. And so when the body has different areas of unbalance, dis-ease, when we can hit that frequency of dis-ease, that frequency shatters. So why today you see a lot of sound in the news and all? Because now science has actually caught up with what they've known forever. The body is so amazing. Let's pretend like one of the research projects was on cancer cells. They saw the cancer cell shatter when they hit the frequency of that cancer cell. But what was so amazing is when the body is always healing, moving towards wholeness, so it created new cells. But the new cells that were created, these look different than the other ones. They had these two weird-looking things. As they watched these weird things and they'd play the sound, they realized that these two new cells, they were like little antennas, so that the cell could hear the sound.
Wow.
Pretty amazing, yeah.
Yeah.
So your body is that amazing. Your psyche, everything about you is always moving towards wholeness, always better than it was before.
Everything's working in your favor.
Yes.
It's like a quote I like to repeat back. So, wow, that's amazing stuff.
Yeah, and so why I lead breathwork sound baths once a month, because imagine if you just went in, fine-tuned yourself once a month. instead of letting things build and build and build and build. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're meeting with your doctor and they're informing you you have cancer, that you're on cancer training, you know? But if you fine tune every month, just like your car, you take your car in for an oil change every so often.
Yeah.
So it's like, why wait until something happens to you? Why not go in, fine tune? Let your body fine tune itself each month so that you can just stay young forever.
Sounds good to me. And it works.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You're living proof. For those who are tired of the just take a pill ethos, what other practices besides like breath work and sound bath do you recommend for others looking for alternatives to what's like typically prescribed in like Western medicine?
It gets a little challenging because when you get into what's prescribed in Western medicine, you have to realize I'm not a doctor in any way.
Yeah.
But what I find a lot in Western medicine, it's about suppressing, stopping the symptoms. And so if you can find a practice that allows you to open, you know, whether it be breath work, whether it be a sound bath, whether it be yoga, if you can find a practice that's going to allow you to open yourself to an experience, then you don't become stuck. Then the energy can flow. You can start to learn about feeling what you need to feel. If you allow yourself to feel it, you don't need to keep feeling it. But usually we don't allow ourselves to be angry. It's just energy. What if you got angry and you said, all right, I'm angry. Whoa. And you just started beating on a pillow. Just get rid of the anger. Feel it, experience it. Then you don't keep bringing that experience into your existence. What if when you're sad, you just let yourself cry? Because we make all of this mean something, we start to wreak havoc in our entire body, our entire mind. And then we're stressed, we're overwhelmed, we don't know, all of a sudden now we have fears, anxiety. Well, I don't want to feel that again. Oh my gosh, because you stopped it. You actually didn't allow it to complete. I remember one time I allowed myself to complete an entire crying session when I got dumped by a man. Yeah, I tried that love thing again. But the first time I didn't allow myself to cry, so I got shingles. So this time I let myself cry. I went to the toilet paper roll and I just sat there and I cried. I like wailed, like, you know, like those, like, it was weird, like, but I just let it rip and I wailed and I cried and I cried. Yeah. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I started laughing. Because if you really look at tears and wailing, and look at laughing, see?
Similar.
Very similar.
Very
it's
similar.
energy that you can release and move through. So all of a sudden I started laughing and laughing and laughing. And then all of a sudden, this glimpse of the lesson. Why did I go through that entire experience? The glimpse of the lesson came to me in the laughter. I loved again. Oh my God, I can love. I thought I'd lost that ability when I got my divorce. And there I was, laughing because I loved again. And I got dumped.
Oh, the cycle.
Yeah. So I would recommend for people, you know, to really find practices that can help you, you know, really move through the body. Because remember, the body is keeping score. So if you're not allowing yourself to feel angry, your body is keeping score. If you're not allowing yourself, you know, to express the sadness, your body is keeping score. So when you go into a yoga class, when you start to move the body, the myofascia, it starts to reveal itself. It starts to let itself be released. There's many times in a Kundalini yoga class as a teacher, I'm watching many, many students in tears. They're in tears because their body is opening and letting them express whatever they didn't feel before. It's profound. It's amazing.
It's definitely not a good idea to keep things pent up.
Right, right.
So what is Kundalini yoga?
Now, do you have like a few hours or two?
Give us the short version.
So how I see yoga, a pyramid. Okay? So you see a pyramid. Pyramids are very, very solid structures. Under pressure, do not break.
Okay.
Posture, asana, is the base of yoga.
Okay.
So that's the base of the pyramid. That's where most yoga stops, right there, the base. Now take Kundalini, add that side, the mantra, the sound current. So we start to add the technology of being able to work with your mind. When your crazy mind is taking you on a vortex of, I'm bad,
Hopes, doubts, fears.
Yeah. You learn a mantra to move yourself out of that. Move the wavelengths. 84 meridian points at the roof of your mouth. You're striking the keyboard of your mind when you use sound. So that's one leg. And now go to the other side of the pyramid to complete the pyramid. Meditation. Meditation is about clearing the junk in the mind, about allowing all that stuff that doesn't get to be fully cycled, allowing it all just to clear itself.
Interesting.
I remember way back in the beginning of my journey, I tried to go to meditation. I'm going to learn to meditate. And I sat there and, oh my God, that's torture. The crazy mind, blah, 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 blah. You got the to-do list and then the this and then the, oh my gosh. So I was like, okay, obviously I'm not a meditator. That's not going to work out. But in Kundalini Yoga, here's the triangle. You have the postures, the asanas. You have the mantras, the sound current. You have the meditation. All three coming together so that when you are under pressure, nothing will break you. You are too strong.
Wow. Sounds like I need to sign up. That was an awesome explanation. I don't really know much about yoga actually myself. I just started after the sound bath. I just started doing something for the body to give back a little bit. And so I'm still new to all this as well. And it sounds pretty fascinating. When people say yoga, there's never a type. It's never like, oh, I'm going to Kundalini yoga or any. It's just yoga. So I'm like, oh, I didn't know there were types. I thought it was all the same.
Oh my goodness, there's so many types. You got Iyengar, you got Yin, Kundalini, Hatha, Vinyasa Flow. There's a zillion. All of them ultimately are working towards the opening of the Kundalini. Your Kundalini is your divine consciousness lying dormant at the base of your spine. 3.5 coils. Kundalini Yoga is working specifically to allow the awakening of your own Kundalini. And when that Kundalini rises, why you hear a lot of time Kundalini is the yoga of awareness, you become so aware that life is not happening to you. Life is happening for you.
It's amazing. It sounds like I need to sign up. I've been taking the wrong yoga classes.
No, they're all right. But the fastest way to your awakening is Kundalini.
I want to be awakened. Okay, Kundalini Yoga. That's the one. That's the one it sounds like. But there are, I'm sure, many different amazing ones to try.
Yeah, and they're all great. But Kundalini's is the fastest if you want to come into the awareness of how great you are, how great your life is, even when it doesn't feel so great.
Oh, yeah. So that's the one that you teach?
I do.
Well, let's just say someone's living in a smaller town that doesn't have a lot of options available for yoga, things like that. Do you have online options available if anyone wanted to, go ahead and try or learn more?
I'm laughing only because I'm visualizing me in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I don't know if there's Kundalini Yoga in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Luckily, and I didn't think of this until you were just saying that, I teach live classes. So you can actually tune in to my live class here at Guras, right, where we're at.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I teach on Tuesdays and Thursday mornings at 8:30. In the new year, it's going to change to, I think, Monday and Wednesday. But you can live. So I can see you, you can see me. You can press the space bar if you have a question. If I notice that maybe your fingers or your arms aren't quite at the 60 degrees, it's amazing to be able to take a live session. So those that are in the boondock cities, small town, you can tap in live.
Wow. And so when you said that you would notice that they don't have their hands, does that mean that that you could see them?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's live. I can see you. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That is amazing.
Yeah, there's a camera in front of me. And what you would do is if you have your phone, you'd put your phone camera in front of you, or if you're doing it on your computer, you put your computer And then I can see you. And some people choose not to. They don't. But I say, hey, because understand, like when you're in a live class, as the teacher's instructing, a lot of times the teacher's instructing based on what we're seeing in the class. So our words are describing what we're seeing. So if you're taking a yoga class and the teacher can't see you, they wouldn't know, your triangle, bring it in a little closer. You're too wide. But because I can see you, I can say, take 2 steps in a little bit for your triangle. Or maybe your arms are up in the air and you're at 180 degrees. Okay, move your arms up to 60, a little bit higher, because we use the science of angles in yoga.
That makes sense. Really get the postures just right. Technique is important. I learned that in weightlifting, but you can apply it to probably just about anything.
Yeah.
So, wow, that's amazing. Technology has really come a long way.
If you look back, I might be a lot older than you, I'm not sure, but like I used to watch the Jetsons when I was a little girl. The Jetsons, they had those little thingies where the thing would come down, they would see the people talking. That was not real as my childhood. And we're living that, It's like crazy.
Yeah, my parents just put in one of the doorbells as the camera. Somebody rings the doorbell and they come up on a screen. It's pretty amazing stuff.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, you've had quite an amazing journey so far. Have you found your current path as a teacher rewarding?
Oh my God, absolutely. Absolutely. I love what I do. It's so weird because when I was a little girl, I wanted to be a teacher.
Really?
Yeah.
School teacher?
I wanted to be a school teacher and I didn't think I was smart enough. And then I did like a shadowing of a school teacher and they worked way too hard for not a lot of money. And I was like, obviously that's not going to be my route. Took a whole new turn on my path. And here I am now going back to what that little girl wanted to do. And every day I love it. I love it.
That's so important. It's so important. We spend so much of our time working in this life to do something that is truly meaningful to you. I think is one of the most important things that people can do for their lives. Wow. So, do you have a website, social media, for anyone who wants to find out more, who wants to follow you on maybe Instagram or Facebook or anything?
Yeah, it's pretty easy. It's my name.
Okay.
But now you got to figure out, do you know how to spell my name?
Yeah. Guru Mitar 4000. G-O-O, no.
So
how do you spell that?
Guru, M as in Mary, I, T as in Tom, A as in Apple, R as in race.
Yeah, that works.
So gurumitar.com will get you to my website, and then you could go to YouTube /Guru Mitar. You could go to Instagram /Guru Mitar, but oh my God, someone had my name on Instagram.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you have to add Guru Mitar Yoga.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not too bad.
Not too bad, yeah.
We could do that. Awesome. So, folks, go out there. If you want to take a class, she does 360 where she could see you, you could see her. You can get the postures correct. If you're in a small town, if you don't have time to drive a long distance, if you're fighting LA traffic and you're just like, screw it, I just want to do it at home. Once I get home, then you can always go ahead and sign up via the website.
Yes.
Via your website. Awesome. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of our chat, our journey. It's been a beautiful experience so far. But do you have any final thoughts for our listeners or for those who are thinking about maybe they're trapped in a job that they don't like and they want to pursue their passions or they're thinking about it, it's been on their mind. Do you have any final thoughts for them? Any advice that you would give?
Jump. Life is too short. So many times we think we have to wait until we have more education or more experience or more this, more that. And on my journey, I would have to say that you got to just take the leap of faith. Mm-hmm. I climbed Yosemite Half Dome, and I remember a crazy idea of climbing it in the middle of the night. But when we were climbing the last 400, it's like a straight, like literally pulling your arms to get you up this mountain. And we would only go one plank at a time. And in the dark, had no idea, just one plank at a time. But as I was doing that plank, I realized, what if you did that in life? You're always going to be in the dark. Just take one step at a time. And then another step. Don't try and figure out, well, am I going to get weighed? Because if you try to weigh it, you're never going to do it. You are never going to do it. So just take that one step, that one leap of faith, so that the doors can start to open for yourself. Otherwise, they're never going to open. You don't have enough time in a day for them to open.
That's great advice. See, I'm learning. Thought I had it all figured out. No, I'm kidding. That's why we're here on the show. Thank you so much for doing this for us. You are amazing. And this has been, no offense to my brother, the best interview so far. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me. And I look forward to watching all those magical people take that jump.
Yeah. If you were inspired by Guru Mitar's talk, reach out.
Yes,
okay
let me know. Let me definitely know.
Exactly. All right. Thank you once again, folks. Everyone have a blessed day. Take care. See you next time. Guru Mitar had some powerful words of wisdom at the end, didn't she? It's so fulfilling to me to be able to share these lessons with you. You know what? I take just as much out of the advice as anyone else. If Guru Mitar's story helped you, please reach out and let her know. I know she'll appreciate it. In the end, nobody knows what will make you happy except you. So, if you've got something inside you telling you to make some changes, do what you need to find your happiness. We've got your back. In the meantime, enjoy the closing theme and remember, think courageously, live compassionately, and always do you.